Hello everybody, Thorgal here, and welcome back to another episode of FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode here on the FTOG server. It's been a little while since we set up the nuclear reactor, and I was very busy the last 2 weeks with finishing up our own mod pack for FTOG and the community. And in case you guys missed it, we made a mod pack on 1.8.9 Minecraft, and it's called Avant. And we also opened the doors to a public server that you can play with us, with some of the YouTubers and lots of the other fans and viewers, and also other people that actually came from other channels that promoted the mod pack and so on. So it's really fun playing there with everybody and getting to meet a lot of people. And we've gotten a lot of support within the first, what is it now, 4 or 5 days? I don't remember. It's all a big blur, not a lot of sleep, guys. We had 4 updates already to the pack, and we had over 130 unique logins on the server. And it's been downloaded, I think, close to 1,000 times now, the mod pack already. And I wanted to say thanks to everybody. And I hope you guys are enjoying the pack and that I get to meet a lot more people on that server. But now it's time to keep working on our reactor. And I've been very busy here for a couple of days, actually, guys. And I had a couple of rage quits because I set something up and then it didn't work out again. I got a little frustrated, and I'm going to blame that I didn't get a lot of sleep during that time. But I got everything figured out now, I believe. Knock on wood. And wanted to just show you guys real quick the things that I tried to do, okay? And it all stemmed from that I wanted to not waste material. Okay, we do get the combs from the bees in here, the nuclear combs. It's empty right now, but you're gonna see 4, so come in a second. And we processed them all, if you guys remember, into this stuff, the enriched uranium nuclear fuel. And I still have 670 here that I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with those. But other than that, you know, we processed all the crushed uranium. Well, I did not want to process everything and turn everything into this because I think there isn't many uses for the enriched uranium fuel, right? Besides, well, run a nuclear reactor. But we also need uranium ingots and things like that for other crafting recipes. So anyway, and then, of course, I wanted to get started on the dual MOX fuel. That's what we're going to set up today in the second reactor to actually make us power. And guys, don't worry if you see this kind of stuff here. I set them up because I had to do a lot of testing to actually understand how this works. And a lot of times I'd rather set it up here than in a creative world because I wanted to make sure that it ties in with my system. But anyway, we're going to go through all these. Don't worry. So, what was my goal? My goal was I wanted to have 27, and you guys see in that cache, bottom right, there's 27 of these fuel rods sitting in this cache. And there is 9 dual MOX fuels sitting in this cache. And I need in the left reactor 27 of these, and on the right one 9 of these. And only if there's less than those, I wanted to make more. Okay? That was my goal, and that is why I tried all this out. Now, you guys gave me some really good replies in that last episode, and I wanted to thank you very much for that. You gave me some good ideas with using like dense item ducts and stuff like that. But it just didn't work out for what I wanted to do, guys. It got so messy. I didn't like it. This is the nuclear reactor. I want this to be clean and as smooth as possible, right? And then I even tried using item conduits with filters. I don't have any more now because I reused them again for back there. And I still couldn't work it out the way I wanted it. And then I made a second complete setup with another furnace, 2 more metal formers, another crafter, and I think another canning machine should be in here too somewhere, right there. And then I'm like, you know what? This is going nuts. We're going to go with Steve's Factory Manager, because Steve's Factory Manager, I can set up conditions, I can set up timers, everything. It just makes absolute sense to use the Steve's Factory Manager for this. But I spent many, many hours setting this up the way I have it now. It's way too much to show you guys in details. So I figured I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown on how I set up. And hopefully it will make sense. All right? So let me just show you guys these right here. These 5 are very simple. They're getting checked every second. Okay, iron plates. All I'm doing here is with Steve taking the dust and I put it into the smelter and the furnace. And the furnace auto ejects over here. That makes the ingots into the plates. And then Steve takes those plates and puts them into this cache. You guys see I have 265 here. That was another problem, by the way, why I needed to make sure to stop at 27 of these. Because if I just let this go, it's going to use up all my iron plates. And then if I need to make MOX fuel, I won't have any iron, right? And this takes 2 of these rods plus a plate in between. Here's the recipe for that. Take 2 MOX singles with an iron plate and that makes the dual rod. So that was another problem why I needed to make sure it doesn't just make these, you know, willy-nilly. Because I'm going to run out of iron and I wanted this to be a self-sufficient system. I should never have to put iron in here. Because when we refurbish these right here, where's the depleted MOX? Right there. Usage, you guys see we get 3 iron dust back. It takes 3 iron to make it and you get 3 back. So that is why we should never have to put any iron in. So that's the first one. The second one we're doing is the nuclear combs. I simply take the combs out of this chest, put them in the centrifuge. And there is just one exception here real quick. And that is, this is the input and then I have 2 outputs. The first one, I'm taking the beeswax and the honey drops. And I'm putting them into a trash can. Bada bing, right there. And then I take the crushed uranium and put it into this. And the trash can is set up down there against one of these cables. Because I don't need any wax or honey drops. I have thousands and thousands of that stuff over at the bees. So I just wanted to get rid of them. So they're getting voided. The next one we have is the plutonium. All it does, do I have 9? It takes any plutonium from here and puts it in here. That's why there's 8 waiting. And it makes 1 big plutonium and takes that and sticks it back up in there. There's no reason to keep the tiny piles of plutonium. There's no recipe for that. This one, the tiny uranium. What I do here is check if I have... This is actually going. It should be going. Yes, it's sitting in here. You guys see that? And it's heated up and it does 1 at a time. And what I do here is... I'm making sure I have, I think, 162 is the number. Let's see here. You guys see I have a condition where I check if in that inventory I have, when you right click this, you can set a number, at least 162. You need 81 of these tiny piles of uranium to make enough for 27 of these fuel rods. So I doubled it because sometimes I come here and I take these 27 out and bring them to my base at spawn because I have another one there. And I'm worried that if this one runs out of fuel, like shortly after, it won't have time to make enough of this tiny pile of uranium in here to catch up. Okay, I just want to make sure that I have enough of this. So I don't need to wait for this guy to heat up because it takes a long time. And you see, I only have 1 coming in every few seconds. Sorry, 1 second here. I don't know why these are in here, but I'll figure it out in a second. Because I set it up in a way that the trigger here is an interval of 9 seconds. And that just came out that way that by the time this one is heated up, you already have 30-something sitting in here. Okay? But then it is with the 4 overclockers fast enough that it will catch up, getting rid of all of these, and I timed this multiple times, that it then stops when this one is at 81. So that works. That's why this is set to 162. Hope it makes sense. And here this flow, by the way, is just that I put the tiny pile of uranium into one cache, the uranium in another one, and the stone dust into this one. That's why there's 3 outputs. Okay. And then we have the empty rods. What I do here is check this machine if there... if there's 10 empty rods sitting here. If not, it sends one of these plates into this metal former and then puts it back into here. I just always want to have 10 sitting here. I could probably go with 2. You'll see in a second why 2. But 10 is just gives me a little cushion and it checks it every second. And then the last one that is run every second is this one here, where I am simply checking here. depleted uranium, and depleted MOX. And I'm taking that, either one of them, and put it into the caches. And I'm taking that from here. So all the depleted stuff that comes from the reactors goes back into here. And you see there's a filter set up here to only whitelist depleted uranium. I don't have any depleted MOX yet, so I couldn't add it yet. But the logic is done that it will pull out the depleted MOX and put it in here. Okay? And then here, I have thermal in. What I do here is I'm checking both of these, the depleted uranium and depleted MOX. And I simply take everything that is in there and I stuff it into this thermal centrifuge. That's this second one here. And because they're depleted, it doesn't matter how long this takes. It's going to be done well before the other ones are run out again. And then the output is split into 4. It's uranium, iron dust, tiny piles of plutonium, and regular plutonium. Because the MOX fuel here, depleted MOX usage, we actually get 6 big plutonium back. Okay? And the depleted uranium, we get tiny pile and the big uranium back. That's why there's 4 outputs, okay? So that is it. It's all very simple, I think. Excuse me, I got the sniffles now for some reason. The uranium rods, where I check for these 20 seconds, is a little bit different. Because the trigger here, I check every 10 seconds. Alright? Reason for that being is, it takes a few seconds for this to get processed. Because I'm taking the tiny pile and the regular uranium, I'm sending it here. It makes me a, this thing right here, the enriched uranium. And then I send the enriched uranium down to here. And it makes me one of these fuel rods. And that takes a few seconds, okay? And that's why, because if I check every second, by the time it is done with everything, you know, there might be more enriched uranium sitting in here because it already got crafted. And then it will maybe shoot over it, you know, to 30, 40 something. Which wouldn't be a problem, but then eventually, you know, every time you take 27 out, it just keeps overfilling. And it's fine. You know, once I take these 27 out, it takes 5.5 hours or whatever for them to get burned up. Just take your time. And it's very simple. I set a second condition though right here. So the first one here is I'm checking, do I have 27? And how this number works here, in case you guys are not familiar, is if it has this number or more, the condition will return true. If there's less than this number, it will always return false. So 26, 25, any one of them, it will just keep saying false, which I'm using here to the next condition. In the next condition, I am checking if I have at least 3 tiny piles of plutonium. And if yes, I'm doing the flow here. And I think this is maybe where, no, I do say take out 6. And here I say take out 3. So I am not sure why there is always 4 and 3 sitting in here. Yeah, the thing is, if I take them out now, there's some little quirk here. And it does something. In a few minutes, I'm going to have those 2 sitting in here again. I'm not sure why. But anyways. And then, when that is all done, I'm taking the enriched uranium from that crafter. And I'm sending it down to the scanning machine. Ah, come on, right there. Right here. And then this one simply takes the fuel rod and puts it into that last cache. So that's every 10 seconds it checks this logic, and if there isn't, it makes us another rod. And the next one, the biggest one, is the MOX rod right here. Alright, it's a little more, but don't run away. Here again, I'm checking every 10 seconds. If I have at least 9 of these in that cache, and if false, so there's less than 9, I am checking if I have at least 6 big plutonium. Because it takes 6 of these to make 1 MOX fuel. And if I don't, well, don't try to make it. Okay, then we're behind and we have problems anyway. And then I split the flow up into 2. Here, I am taking 6 plutonium. And here, I'm taking 12 uranium. And I'm bringing them back together with the flow into an internal crafter here. And I'm making the MOX nuclear fuel here in Steve's Factory Manager. And then I send that to, you know it, the canning machine. Now, the canning machine gets those two because it's going to craft these two simultaneously. And then here I'm checking the inventory of that canning machine if there's at least 2 of these rods sitting in here, because I'm making 2 at a time. And if yes, then I'm sending that 1 at a time. Wait, oh, it doesn't matter. It just takes both of them. And I'm sending it to the crafter. And over here, I'm sending let me just show you on the items, 1 of the iron plates. And that goes into here, and that makes me that MOX fuel rod. And then the last one, you guessed it right there, just takes it out of the crafter and puts it down into this cache. And that is it. Now, if I take any of these out, it will always keep it 27 and 9. Ooh, I know there was a lot of information, but I tried to show you guys just so you have an understanding. You know, next time we come in this room, all right, he does all this automatically. And it's worked out good so far. Of course, I haven't played with the MOX yet, but that is what we get to now. I'd say we get started with the monitoring and the safety first before we actually get this guy to give us power, that second reactor. I set up, this monitor was up here, and I decided to just move them over here. We can move them wherever we want. I don't want to move this guy again. But this one down here is tied to the left reactor, and this one is tied to the right reactor. In case you guys forgot, you make one of these remote sensor kits, right-click the reactor, and then it pops out this card, and you put that in here. So this top one is the new reactor that we're gonna do today. Well, it's there since last time, but we haven't used it yet. So that's what we're gonna use here today. Ooh, let me get out again. So it's just showing this. And you guys see there's a temperature of 1104 already. Okay? And it's been like that since 12, 14 hours, something like that. It does not lose heat. Not one bit. And I'll show you guys how I got it to heat up. Because we need to heat this guy up before we put in the things that we're actually going to use. Okay? The hotter a reactor is, the more power you get. Alright? So this one over here and I need to mention that, and I saw a few of you guys say that in the comments, but it's unfortunately not true. The hotter this gets does not mean you use the rods up faster. The rods are always the same speed. It doesn't matter how hot you make it, okay? The only thing that happens is the hotter it is, the more you're going to use of your heat vents and so on, or you get a meltdown, you know? And there is a magic number from, as far as I know, 8,500 degrees is when everything in here will start to actually melt, guys. All right? The wires, the blocks, and whatever, they just disappear. They turn on fire, and then they melt, and they're gone. And at, of course, 10,000 degrees, I'm guessing, I haven't tested it yet, the thing goes boom. Okay? So you don't want to get to 8,500 because you don't want your stuff to melt, but we want to get it as close as possible. So we get more energy, okay, for the same amount of fuel. And the number that I found is, let me look at my notepad, 7,650 degrees. That is what I would like to reach. 7,650 degrees is 90% of 8,500. All right? So if I just put one of these rods in here and turn it on, it will not produce any heat. Okay? Nothing. But if you put a second one right next to it, these two will make a tremendous amount of heat. I'm already at 11%, and I barely used them, right? So, I tied a second one of these cards and put it into this machine right here, the remote thermal monitor. And it's sitting right there. And I actually... Ooh. I didn't know that. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. We're gonna put 2 range upgrades in here. I think I found these 2 in my inventory yesterday, and I was wondering where I forgot them, and I think they were in here. So I'm gonna leave them in here, just to make sure this guy can actually monitor. But anyways, and it should be because it's actually turned on. It don't matter. This thing needs a little bit of power. That's why I put it over here, and directly it's the closest to the MFSU, so it should always get power. And here we can set up temperatures, okay? By default, it starts with 500. So this one we want to set to, in a second, I want to explain to you how it works first, to 7650. And if the reactor that it's reading is, I think, equal or above to that temperature, it will fire a redstone signal. And I tied it to a wireless transmitter here. to the 4501. Okay? And you guys can see we're at 1104 degrees. Now, you need to invert the symbol here, okay? Because you're getting a redstone signal if you're above the temperature. I kind of wish it was the other way around, so you get one when you're below it. But anyways, so right here, I'm powering this block, which I can turn this lever away. This is my override, okay? Even if this is underneath the heat, I'll show you in a second, then I can still trigger this torch to be off. But you can see it triggers that block, the torch is off, no redstone signal, okay? So let's leave it off, the reactor. And we're gonna set this now to 7,000. I'm so nervous. 7,650. Why can't I go? Why do you not let me use the tenor here? Alright, why don't I just type it? There we go. Enter. Something? No. Alright. And now you see the meter's all the way down there. Because it's not going to trigger a redstone until it reaches that temperature. And you see over here, because this is off, when I flip this lever, the redstone torch is going to power this guy. And I should be able to let it go. I'm hoping. I'm so nervous. So let's turn this on and you guys are going to see. This is now makes 20 EU a tick. And the temperature is slowly going to come up. And we can also keep our eye on this. Right over here. You see how it's going up and you see melting 8,500. And we should also see the EU come up the hotter this gets. What does it go up? It looks like 24 every time it gets hotter. So that means it's going to be just slightly, possibly above 7650. I can actually go up to 7675, something like that, I think. But I took this nice round number, and that's exactly 90% of 8,500. I don't think anything should be able to go wrong. And there's other ways to speed this up, of course. If I put the MOX in here, you know, this temperature is going to zip up really fast. And then once we're at that temperature, I can take those rods out and put them somewhere else. And then we can actually put in the cooling we need. And so on. So I'm going to wait here until we get to this heat now. We're getting really close to that number now. Like I said, if everything goes well, that wireless will turn on. And it will shut off the reactor. I'm so nervous. Yeah, nice. It stopped. Yes, it's working. You guys have no idea how nervous I was. Ow. Ow. Okay. Well, excuse me. Okay. Can I still access this? Core temperature, 76%. Is it fallen down now? Alright, 7656. Okay, so that's as close as I can bring it to there. Okay, so now the next thing is I have to bring up my little screenshot over here. There it is, because I took a screenshot when I set up the cooling for this. It's going to be a little bit tricky. And what am I going to do with these two? I should be able to take them out, yeah. And we're just going to hang them on the wall right there. These two are my heating thingamajiggies. And now we're going to need all of the things here. Let's set up these here first. And now this is something, guys, that I cannot say I'm 100% sure how it works, but I'm going to try to explain it, okay? When you have any heat source directly against the wall, I shouldn't say that. When you have any fan directly against the wall, it is the most efficient, and it can, it doesn't use any durability from as far as I understand that. Under certain circumstances, of course, okay? If you just make it too hot, you're always going to lose durability, but we're trying to make this so we're not using any durability on any of these items, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get this with this. So these guys right here, the component heat vents, they act like an extra. Oh boy, I'm short 1. Looks like I am short 1, right? Oh no, this one doesn't go there. It goes here. Okay. And the reason why these components are there, they from how I understand it, okay, they act like they're part of the wall. So these fans, if they are not against the wall, the outer shell of the reactor, so like right here is gonna be one right there, but these inner ones, like this one right here, you know, doesn't have access to the outside, so it cannot dissipate the heat. But these component heat vents act like a wall. That is how I understand it, guys. If you have a better explanation for everybody and for me, please go down in the comments and let me know why these guys here are so important. But this is how I understand that these work. And you guys see, we're not leaving a lot of room for these MOX fuel rods. We only need enough for 9. And everything should be fine when this is done. Again, the adrenaline is super high in me. Because this is, you know, I don't want to have to roll back or have to fix my holes or whatever. But this is it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay? And every one is getting cooled by, I think, minimum of 3. And that's the magic. Besides this one. But this one is a single one. But these two are next to each other, so they're going to produce an extra amount of heat because they're heating each other. But you see, this one right here is going to be cooled by D3. This one by D3. And this one touches the wall. This one touches the wall. This one touches the wall. At least that's how I understand it, guys. I hope it makes sense. I did a lot of testing. I did a lot of reading. I went into some weird websites that required me to install Java and stuff so I can look at their calculators. Oh boy, let me tell you. So, we're taking one of these out because I want the rest to be pumped in to make sure that that actually works. And I'm gonna have to take... No, I don't. I'm not gonna have to take damage. I can just break this and then put it on here again. And do I not have another filter? Yes, I do. I knew I have filters. Alright, so we're gonna put... where can I make sure to actually set this up? Alright, we're just gonna have to be fast. I'm guessing... So I'm gonna do... Insert, filter, whitelist. MOX fuel rods, and we see I knew it's gonna do it. So now I got the whole thing messed up over there. It's gonna make me extra ones. It's already gonna make them, but I'll put them back in there. So this time I'm gonna have a few extra because it dipped under 27. Man, that was fast. It didn't even give me a chance to put the filter in here. Anyway, is this... I need to set the other one over here to start out. Pulling out this guy right here. Extract, always active. And there they are. So, cross your fingers, everybody. If I... that's another problem here. I need to, because this is gonna hold the temperature. So I'm gonna need to set... This one is correct. So I'm gonna need to set this one over here to 7657. 7657. And it's running, guys. The temperature's holding 7,656. It has not gone up. And we're producing 1,056 EU a tick. It is time that we actually put that power to use now. And I'm gonna take this storage drawer full of scrap with me. And we are gonna set up our UU matter production. It's time that we get that going. And it's gonna take a while until we have enough UU matter to do anything with it. So I wanna... Oop, come on. I wanna get this done for sure today. I'm just gonna put this over here for now so I don't have that particle effect. And we had one of these recycles already. I made 5 more and I also made a mass fabricator. The recipe is actually not that bad. Actually, not bad at all, I have to say, for being pretty much the end game of IC2. And I want to Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. If I put the power here. Yeah, that should leave enough room. 1, 2, 3. We can have wires there. Let's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these guys right there. Oh, wait a second. No, that doesn't work. We'll need to... We need power. We need cobble input. And we need the output. So how am I gonna do that? Okay, let's do it like this. Let's start with the power cables first. Let's get this over here, and we're gonna come straight out here. So that's 1, 2, and I just want to leave a way so I can walk in here. Too wide, so we'll come to here, right there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're gonna have the mass fabricator. So we'll come over one and then down. Not enough. Right there. Okay. Yeah. That works. Sorry, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So we're gonna hook these guys up right there, like this, and that way I can access underneath and from above and behind. So these 6, and they should all be instantly charged like that. And then I figured we're gonna put the I guess I can go further this way. So we're gonna put the storage drawer right against this thing here, right there. And I don't have a... I took out the void upgrade here because I figured, what's the point of voiding this? It's just gonna keep drawing power. So I'm gonna say this is probably not gonna be fast enough to keep this full or whatever. But so, and we are gonna come out from... We're gonna fill it from the bottom. I hope that works. So we're gonna have to pull out the scrap in the back. And I'm gonna use Ender IO wherever I can, guys. I'm gonna stay away from the ducts as much as I can. And all of these are gonna be set to auto extract, auto out. So when there's scrap, it can just get rid of it. Good. And then we're also gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. And they all need to be wrenched to input. Like I said, I'm not sure if we can actually input from the bottom, but I hope we can right there. And I have a spot in the back. Perfect. And I took that Igneous extruder and made it a resonant version. So we're going to put that right there. And the output is going to be in the back. It's going to be cobble and always. And it might not be fast enough. Who knows? But we can upgrade that easily. And let's put in the 3 upgrades. So it's going to make us 64 cobble at a time. So we should never have to worry about keeping up with this. Alright, so this is making us cobble already. And it's already full and already producing scrap. Awesome. That wasn't bad at all. And I'm not... These up to 32 RF EU a tick. So this thing here should be staying full. No worries there. We're making enough power. Okay, so we got all this. Oh, I gotta set this to insert. Okay, and now let's see. Where do I want the mass fab? I guess right there. So this is already... Wow. What? What? Why is this so fast? Wait, it says 512 RF a tick. That's... Our 512 EU a tick max. So... 6 times 32 is 180... 192? Right? Wait. 30 times 6? Yeah. So why am I losing power? Not sure. But anyway, and I guess what we could actually do is, instead of piping this over, I can get a pulling upgrade. I need, this is north, right? Yes, let's see if I have one pre-configured to the north. Yep, let's get one of these. So I don't even need to pipe, it can just automatically pull in. And what this does here, guys, it always, I guess, takes the same amount of power. You have 2 millibuckets. Woohoo! But no, it always has the same speed, I think. But when you put scrap in here, we get this amplifier. You see how much faster it is? I mean, it's sucking that scrap empty like crazy. And 4 millibuckets. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever. I had no idea. Alright, so let's pull in this stuff here automatically. You know, it's pulling it directly from here. And I'm guessing that none of these... Yeah, they're not gonna be able to keep up, but... I think that once we have all 30,000 of this used up, that's why I kind of had this running the whole time, then we can figure out what we're going to do. So, wow. So that's probably, that's 1 bucket. I'm guessing it can hold 4 buckets. And my, can you auto checked this? I think there is a fluid upgrade, if I am not mistaken. Let's search for upgrade, and it's gonna be in the IC2 section right there. There is fluid ejector, automatically output to the first valid side. And let's make one of these real quick, guys. Wrong one. We gotta go here. Do it. King slime at spawn. Alert troops. Fluid ejector upgrade. I'm guessing I don't have everything for that, but I have the electric motor programmed. So it's just gonna make us this, and I don't need ducts, which makes me very happy. And I don't need any more glass fiber cable or item conduits. Come on, make the motor. It shouldn't take that long. Alright, there's the motor. Make this guy and go back. And now I need to... Whoa. I'm gonna have to get down one so I can shift a right click this machine underneath. Right? Put that in here. And there we go. We got 28 millibuckets of UU matter. Alright, so I just wanted to explain this again. It always uses the same amount of power as far as I understand. But by giving it scrap, you amplify it and you see clearly it's super fast, right? But I still don't understand why I am losing power. If I make 1056... You guys know what's happening here? Why this is happening? Please let me know down in the comments, because I should make more power than this needs. There's no reason. And if it draws more power, I gotta make sure to possibly put a transformer here to limit the power, because I gotta make sure that these machines always have power. They are first in the line. So I'm hoping that they will stay full, because, you know, if I run out of the fuel rods, well, then everything is over. So, now we're gonna let this fill up, guys, until next episode. And again, it should not take as long anymore. I'm trying to get a couple episodes a week out again on Infinity, because, well, we got so much to do. And, you know, I got this awesome factory over here, and we haven't done anything. I have so many plans for that area. But I wanted to make sure we get the ME system first. That's where all of this started from, don't forget. And I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys, and all comments are really appreciated. And maybe I'll see some of you guys on the Avant server, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and bye-bye. Alright, there's the motor. Make this guy and go back.